Welcome to a marathon of some of the most horrifying caving incidents in history, featuring the deepest cave on Earth, the infamous Nutty Putty Cave incident, and much more. As a word of caution, if you're new here, these stories are anxiety-inducing, so viewer discretion is advised. Let's kick things off with a dive into the deepest cave on Earth, Veryovkina Cave, plunging a mind-blowing 7,057 feet. It takes over 4 days and thousands of feet of rope just to reach its immense depth. But this cave isn't just deep. It holds spine-chilling incidents. Located on the border of Russia and Georgia, Veryovkina Cave is surrounded by breathtaking peaks, including Mount Elbrus, the highest peak in Europe. Now, the intriguing part is that the Gagra Mountains, on the western side of the region, house 4 of the deepest caves known to humanity, with Veryovkina Cave reigning supreme at 7,000 feet deep. That's like stacking 23 statues of liberty on top of one another. The entrance is no walk in the park either, positioned at an altitude of 7,500 feet. You have to climb up a literal mountain just to reach it. The cave's discovery in 1968 was accidental, and it wasn't until 2015 that a new shaft revealed Veryovkina's true depth. By March 2018, the official deepest point was found at the bottom of a subterranean lake, reaching a staggering 7,057 feet. Fast forward to September of the same year, a brave team led by Pavel Demidov embarked on a mission to explore the cave and collect samples of potentially undiscovered species. This was no ordinary expedition. In an average cave, you can descend and ascend in a day, but in Veryovkina, it's like climbing a tall mountain with 6 camps strategically placed at different depths. The journey is filled with challenges, special clothing, harnesses, headlamps, and tight tunnels. Over 4 days, they make their way to Camp 6 at 6,900 feet. Through mud, water, and tight squeezes, their only means of transportation is the thousands of feet of ropes used for the descent. Then, a storm on the surface causes a massive flood. With no wireless communication, they rely on a physical line to warn others about the incoming flood pulse. Chaos ensues at Camp 6 as everyone packs up essential gear. Photographers Robbie and Jeff leave their expensive camera equipment behind, put on protective gear, and start their ascent. As they climb, they face a narrow traverse resembling a bridge, now almost completely submerged. Robbie, driven by adrenaline, climbs mindlessly, unaware that the water flows elsewhere. Finally, Jeff catches up, and they reach Camp 5 at 6,200 feet, eagerly awaiting the Russians' arrival. The remaining members of the Perevo team successfully make their way up, surviving the harrowing ordeal. Tragically, the challenges in Veryovkina Cave took a darker turn. In November 2020, explorers discovered a rope at the cave's entrance, posing a danger to unsuspecting adventurers. Returning in August 2021, the Perevo team found crampons and an ice axe at 1,300 feet, indicating someone had ventured deeper. Continuing their exploration, they made a grim discovery at 3,600 feet: the decomposed body of Sergei Kazev, a 37-year-old outdoorsman. Sergei had meticulously planned a solo expedition, studying Prevost team materials. Carrying crampons and an ice axe, he navigated tunnels and descended massive vertical shafts. Living at the second camp for a week, Sergei faced challenges beyond encountering technically difficult areas and increasing water levels. Lacking proper equipment, he seemingly realized he couldn't descend further. Attempting to ascend, he got stuck without footholds, exhausted and cold. The Perevo team discovered his body, leading to a challenging retrieval involving over 100 individuals. Veryovkina Cave remains the deepest on Earth, but its remote location raises questions about future challenges. But it isn't the scariest spot on Earth. Jason and his 5 friends embarked on an exploration that would take a horrifying turn. As they stepped into the depths of Cascade Cave on Vancouver Island in December 2015, the cave was guarded by a locked hatch. As they descended 338 feet below the Earth's surface, the journey featured tight and winding tunnels. Despite the rain-soaked Pacific Northwest weather, Jason, equipped with rubber boots, neoprene socks, 3 shirts, overalls, and a water-resistant jacket, joined his friends, including paramedics Andrew and Adam, chef and firefighter Zach, and computer programmers Matt and Taylor. The group, led by experienced caver Andrew, carried climbing gear, ropes, harnesses, carabiners and a small ladder. After getting the key for the hatch in Port Alberni, the team drove to an unmarked trail, hiked to the cave entrance, and descended the ladder, closing and locking the hatch behind them. The cave's initial descent of 30 feet led to a chilly, damp chamber, setting the stage for their subterranean journey. Navigating through narrow passageways, ankle-deep streams, and jagged boulders, the group pressed on. After 45 minutes, Adam, dealing with a back issue, decided to turn back. Matt accompanied him to the surface, locked the hatch, and rejoined the team. The cave's challenging conditions, darkness, and relentless descent created an eerie scene. Little did they know, their exploration would take a tragic turn. As the group continued their cave exploration, crawling and sliding through narrow passages, they marveled at the unique features of Cascade Cave on Vancouver Island. One distinctive section, called Bastard's Crawl, required them to crouch down and crab walk through a narrow sloping passageway. Their journey led them to the cave's major waterfall, Double Trouble, where they set up rappel lines to descend 50 feet into a large chamber. After a brief rest and lunch, the group decided to head back, as they were almost at the end of the cave. However, Zach began shivering violently, signaling the effects of the cold. Despite being close to completing the exploration, they decided to turn back together. Retracing their route, they reached Double Trouble again, noticing increased water flow and louder sounds. Climbing the waterfall proved challenging, with the water intensifying. Jason, at the forefront, faced a sudden surge of water as he attempted to climb a tight passage. Swept off his feet and submerged, he struggled to stay afloat. In a dire situation, Zach and Andrew heard Jason's cries for help. Andrew, an experienced caver, rushed to assist, giving specific instructions to guide Jason's movements. Battling the rushing water and confined space, Andrew managed to pull Jason to safety, narrowly avoiding a perilous fall. Despite being out of immediate danger, Jason was weak and battered. Andrew, recognizing the urgency, encouraged Jason to keep moving to avoid hypothermia. With the water level rising, Andrew instructed Zach to join the others and inform them of the situation. If he and Jason didn't catch up within 30 minutes, the group was to leave the cave and contact search and rescue. Andrew wrapped Jason in a mylar blanket and used a gas stove to warm him up, aware of the risk of hypothermia. In the chilling darkness of Cascade Cave, Jason, battered and freezing, wrapped in a mylar blanket, faced a daunting climb back to the surface. The final stretch of Bastard's Crawl proved too perilous, with just a 4-inch gap between water and the ceiling. Alone in the cave, uncertain of their friend's fate, they endured a grueling 12-hour wait, huddled under the mylar blanket. The water finally receded, and after nearly 24 hours trapped underground, they made a challenging exit, greeted by rescuers with relief and cheers. In a remarkable turn of events a year later, the group returned to Cascade Cave for redemption. With dry handholds and lessons from their prior ordeal, they successfully navigated the cave without incident. But the incident in the Nutty Putty Cave didn't have a similar ending. Another gripping tale unfolds when John Jones faces a life-threatening incident. Stuck upside down in a narrow tunnel, blood pooling in his brain, the clock was ticking for a timely rescue. Nutty Putty Cave was closed to visitors until May 2009, with a new gate installed and a booking system introduced to ensure single group entry. Despite these precautions, tragedy struck when John Jones ventured into the treacherous confines of the cave. Mistakenly entering a narrow passage, he found himself stuck upside down, 400 feet in and 100 feet underground. Rescuers worked tirelessly, employing various methods, including climbing cams and pulleys, to free John from the tight confines. However, due to the slow progress in the narrow passages, John's condition deteriorated. After 19 grueling hours, with blood pooling in his brain, John's heart struggled against gravity, leading to cardiac arrest. Despite the efforts of rescuers and the emotional support provided by a two-way radio connecting John with his wife, the final attempt to pull him out resulted in a tragic accident. The pulley broke free, causing John to slip deeper into the crevice. Subsequent rescue attempts were in vain, and John was pronounced dead at midnight on November 25, 2009, with cardiac arrest listed as the official cause of death. During the rescue, a total of 137 rescuers worked continuously for 27 hours, but were ultimately unsuccessful in saving John Jones from the Nutty Putty Cave. Authorities determined that retrieving the body would be too dangerous, so cement was poured over the entrance, and John's body has remained there ever since, proving once again that cave diving is not for the faint of heart. Finally, let's dive into Donald Cerrone's story. Born in Denver, Colorado on March 29, 1983, Donald had a troubled youth involving street fighting and occasional jail time. Transitioning to kickboxing and later MMA, he gained fame as Donald Cowboy Cerrone in the UFC. Outside the ring, he embraced adrenaline-pumping activities like scuba diving. In August 2018, Cerrone planned a cave dive in Cozumel, Mexico, with a friend named Alex. Despite warnings from his wife about Alex's diving capabilities, Cerrone reassured her and took additional precautions, including an extra cylinder of air. They entered the cave known as Aerolito, which connected to over 6 kilometers of mapped caves below Cozumel's surface. Trouble struck when Alex's buoyancy device malfunctioned, leading to panic and silt clouding the cave. Following cave diving protocol, Cerrone hesitated to help Alex, prioritizing his safety. However, breaking his own rule, Cerrone attempted a rescue but got disoriented in the silt, adding to the chaos. Fearing running out of air and drowning, he contemplated going upside down to use his buoyancy device. In a moment of determination, Cerrone crawled along the cave's ceiling, found a crack, and followed it to the exit. The relief upon reaching daylight was immense, but not everyone was as lucky. So which story shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.